On today's special Labor Day episode of the Open in Indiana podcast, we interview returning entrepreneur Kara Long, founder of the Memory Collective. Don't miss it. Welcome, everyone, to the Open in Indiana podcast, where we feature the people, places, and events that make Indiana a great place to live, work, and visit. Today's guest is making her second appearance on the Open in Indiana podcast, Kara Long, founder of the Memory Collective. Kara, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
And Kara, I understand, recently have won the very first Aspire Johnson County pitch contest. Would you like to share a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. That was just an amazing experience, kind of from beginning to end. It was a journey, because I have, I guess, like performance anxiety, and I've been working on that. And so from the very moment that I decided to do it, it was stretching me. But it was exactly what I needed, not only to grow myself, but also to grow my business. It's kind of been the impetus for this new direction that I have for my company. And I don't think I would have discovered that, at least not right now, had I not gone through the process of everything that they had us do to prepare for the pitch contest.
And so, Kara, how has your business changed due to COVID-19?
It's been a bit of a struggle, like towards the beginning of COVID, because before I was going to people and interviewing them in person, and taking quite a bit of time with them, and with social distancing and really just the quarantine. That really was very difficult, and people are wanting to save money rather than spend money in some cases. And so it really forced me to take a look at, like, what is the most critical part of my services, and how can I add value in the most cost-effective way to people. Before I was offering, and still am offering, it's spoken all the way to written memory preservation, where we go to your house, interview you. We basically do everything for you. And we would take your interview, turn it into kind of like an audiobook, and turn that audiobook into a transcript, and the transcript into a physical book. Now, it occurred to me, kind of as I was developing this service, that the most important part of all that is the audio recordings, because I can't ever get your voice back. I can't write down your memories for you. And voice recording and voice journaling is one of the fastest ways, the most kind of economic and less time-consuming ways to journal. And so I realized I started emphasizing just the voice and just those audio recordings more than the transcript and the book. And through the course of the pandemic, and combined with the pitch contest, I developed a new service that I am incredibly excited about. So this is going to be a subscription service where you will record memories just using the device that most of us have, a smartphone. You'll use a combination of techniques to record if you want to, but the primary one that I'm really wanting to emphasize is just audio recording. So it doesn't require you to look all nice on camera, though you can do video recording if you want to. And then you can combine that with the photos that you take on your phone. You can just talk through those and give that extra context, because if you think about it, the photos that we might have scattered all over the place. I have photo albums. I've got individual pictures from before there were smartphones. I've got photos on my computer, scattered across social media. And I think about, like, if something happened to me, and let's say I had young kids or something like that, and if something happened to me, my kids, when they grow up, are going to want to know who I was and connect with me. And someone would have to go through and find all of these pictures, try to piece together me through the clues I left behind. But how convenient would it be if all those clues were actually organized, put in one consolidated, dedicated place that would make it just incredibly easy for me to find them, because hopefully I am still alive. But for those descendants, not just my kids, but my grandkids and my great, great, great grandkids that I never could have met, they can all find everything out about me and hopefully my entire family line, because I'm hoping they'll do this too. So it allows generations apart to connect on a personal level through this modern organization technology. And essentially you just record stories throughout the week, throughout the month, and then you send those to me, and then I process them for you. So you don't have to worry about organizing them or figuring out, where's that audio recording about, going to Shades State Park and hiking and seeing a snake in the water. This just happened. So like if I wanted to search for that memory, my service will make it very, very easy for me to not have to listen to all of these audio files to find that one specific memory. I can just search for it and it pulls it right up. So that's the new subscription service that I'm beta testing right now.
And so, Kara, for those who didn't catch your first episode and know who you are yet, what is some of the specialty areas that you are able to do for people in archiving their memories?
So essentially what I'm trying to do for people is help them pass down their own personal memories, the stories that, a lot of us in our families have heard maybe some of the same stories repeated over and over, and they grow in infamy over the years of, oh, Dad, you've got to tell that story. Those are the kind of stories that we want to help keep in your family, and not let a generational game of telephone alter that story or let it dissolve or even be lost over time. I am really trying to build the Memory Collective into a one-stop shop for anything you can imagine that involves memory preservation. So that could be scanning in photos. It could be actually taking photos of those artifacts. It could be, for instance, like the subscription service may not be for everyone. You may have elders who do not know how to use a smartphone, have no interest in learning, and they don't want anything to do with the technology. And that's perfectly fine. So that's where we still offer what I'm calling kind of a project-based service, where we'll still come to you and safely, wearing masks and being careful with all that. But I will craft an interview based on the things that you've told me are important to you, and then help you draw out those memories that your family would want to know. And then I will still take what I capture and then do all of the same processes, like the audio editing. We'll break up the files into smaller bits, and then organize them the same way that we would had you done a subscription. So that's kind of the gist of the services.
And so, Kara, what is one important thing that you've learned along the way as you've built the Memory Collective?
So much. I feel like every time I do an interview with someone, or even I've done personal projects. I have been working on a project. My dad passed away. He's one of the biggest reasons that I'm doing this. He died when I was 13, and my brother died when I was 12. So kind of back to back. And I have one memory left of my brother. That realization hit me really, really hard. And I realized that had I taken the time when I was that age to either write down, or, if my service had existed to do this service at that period, I would have, I don't know how many memories I would have, but I would have more than one of my brother. And I would have, I'm sure, hundreds, if not even thousands more memories with my dad, which have all just kind of homogenized over time. It's like we went camping constantly, but I couldn't tell you the specific stories of each time we went camping. It's more just we went camping a lot, and I might be able to pick out a couple significant memories, having no idea how old I was or any of the context surrounding it. But in the process of trying to find out more about my dad, so I've just kind of a side note, like I am also a writer. I've been writing a fantasy series. I started writing it when I was like 6 years old. And that's been like kind of my life's ambition, is to get this book series written and published. And I've just always dreamed of being an author. And I knew that my dad was a teacher, and I knew that he loved science, and he was a man of faith, and he was an incredible teacher. That's like one of the biggest things that I remember about him, really into nature and everything. But through interviewing my uncle about him, and my dad's best friends, all of them revealed something that I had no idea, because he never talked about it. And that was that his biggest dream was to be a writer. So that alone, just having that conversation, just changed my whole perspective of him. And I mean, there's more to it than that, but just that was really powerful. And that was just from one conversation. And every time I do an interview with someone, I just leave thinking like, man, I have the greatest job in the world. Like, I get to listen to people's incredible stories and journeys, and I get to watch them kind of come alive and feel like validated and valued by witnessing their lives and their stories and their experiences. So that has just been incredibly rewarding. And every time I have interviewed someone, I've just felt profoundly like I am meant to be doing this, and this is going to be huge. As soon as I can make it, as soon as I can make it huge, it will be. People are going to love this.
And so, Kara, how can our viewers and listeners get in touch with you if they want to learn more?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can look on my website, which is about to be updated. It has not yet been updated to like include the subscription. It still kind of more emphasizes my old spoken to written process. But you can still get a hold of me on my website, which is www.thememorycollectiveco, that's just CO, short for company.com. You can reach out to me by phone. My business line that is direct to me, and you can text or call, that is 317-763-8884. Or they can email me at Kara, Kara, at thememorycollectiveco.com.
Awesome. Well, Kara, thank you so much for joining us again today. And to everyone watching and listening, thank you for catching this episode of the Open in Indiana podcast. Catch our next episode soon. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Open in Indiana podcast. If you enjoyed listening, subscribe to us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Music, iHeartRadio, or on our website, openindiana.com/OII podcast. Thanks for listening.